All right, YouTube, we are here for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Same gimmick as yesterday. Spin the wheel, book the wrestler. If you didn't see yesterday's video, we will spin the wheel. If you get Sasha Banks, you will pick her number. You will pick her storyline and her purpose in the Royal Rumble, and then you will pick her outcome. Sasha Banks for an example. But anyways, Richie, what's going on, buddy?
It's going, man. Had a very successful week. I dropped a debate podcast not too long ago with some TikTok and YouTube creators on who should main event WrestleMania 40 against Roman Reigns, either The Rock or Cody Rhodes. Over 2 hours of just debate, and it's probably the most civil debate you're ever going to hear on the topic. No chairs were thrown, no tables were going through. It was just logistical points and arguing back and forth in a civilized way.
Justin, this is weird that we're not counting anything down.
I was just thinking, we don't do enough content together, Ryan. So this is, we were due. We were definitely due for this. Thanks for having me.
And Johnny Hollywood in the parking lot. How's Florida life going, buddy?
I'm sitting in front of a Best Buy.
Are you in line for a DVD sale?
Yes, I'm waiting for them to drop the bag outside for me to go crawling over there. But yeah, thanks for having me. And I'm really upset that I didn't get to be a part of that Rock and Cody debate.
You'll be a part of the next debate. I'm sure there's going to be another topic that the wrestling community is going to be decisive about. So you're definitely going to be on the next one. I could guarantee you that. Along with everybody here, everyone has an open invite.
While we're on that subject, I give my 2 thumbs up for that one. I did listen to it yesterday. Pressurizing a boiler system. It took me 2.5 hours, and I listened to your whole podcast. So that is what that occupied my time. But speaking of time, let's get to it, boys. Richie, you are up first, buddy.
All right, no whammies, no whammies.
Oh, I thought you were going to get the one that I opened up with. All right, Zoe Starks, what's her faith in the Royal Rumble?
Percentage-wise, it's going to be close to 1%, maybe close to 0 of winning the Rumble, but that's not saying that she's going to have a horrible performance. As we've seen on Monday Night Raw, her and Shayna Baszler have become quite the formidable team, and I think that's the perfect place for both of them, as the solo women's division is kind of full at this moment of the plans of what's going on in Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania for the time being, and it also brings up the prestige of those tag team championships, which have been sorely needed for a long time now. But as for the Rumble, I see Zoe Starks at let me get her at lucky number 13 for this Rumble. And I could see a couple of tag team eliminations with Zoe and Shayna, like maybe throw out a Tegan Nox and Natalya, and possibly even the can they coexist kind of deal where they will try to throw each other out before that being their ultimate downfall. So that's my prediction for Zoe Starks in this year's Royal Rumble.
Starting hot. She would actually last year when she came into the Rumble, the work in the ring kind of ramped up. So I would suggest she comes in early and just kind of holds the Rumble together. She's kind of a glue girl that's perfect for that spot.
Yeah. I just remember seeing her in that Rumble last year. I was like, oh yeah, she's ready for the main roster. There's like no question about it. She was more than ready.
Yeah, this chaotic, frantic nature is right up her alley. All right, Justin, who you got?
Hopefully someone I know.
In the wheel, make a deal, Justin. Oh, there you go. Perfect for you, buddy.
All right.
Boss time.
All right. That's plus 1,200. Yeah, I'd probably throw a couple bucks down on the odds here. Like, why not? I think there's an outside chance. I still think she's probably AEW bound, but I mean, you never know. Like, under this new regime, it's pretty airtight leak wise, and I feel like the stuff that gets out, they want to get out. Like Richie, I haven't got a chance yet to watch the debate, but you mentioned like the Cody and Rock stuff, and I feel like there was some deliberate leaks this week, right? About like Cody's not going to Mania, it's not going to be him, right? Like it feels like real obvious, like that they're just trying to throw you off the scent. At least to me, I think Rock is playing the long game. I think we see him at 41. That's my official prediction. He seems like someone that wants to build the story. We saw it, right? He could have fought Cena at 27, and he wanted to do a year-long build to 28 instead, right? And I think this feels similar to that right around the timing. He came back in February. Everyone thought they'd wrestle that year, and he pushed it a year. So to me, it feels like we may get Rock and Roman at 41, not for the belt, but for the head of the table, and Roman loses the belt, whether it's to Cody at Mania or along the way. That Rock-Roman match doesn't need to be for the title. I actually think it's better not for the title because if it's for the title, it's pretty obvious to me. Like Rock's not going to win the world title. If it's not for the title though, and it's just for like a legendary head of the table title, I think then there's at least a little stakes that you can't predict. Back to this, Sasha Banks. I'll say, I don't know. I'll give it a 5% chance. It's worth a couple dollars throwing down. Again, leaks don't get out, so it's possible. And all you keep hearing from reliable sources is she's AEW bound. She's AEW bound. She hasn't showed up yet, right? And the Rumble's a few days away. And so there's a chance. And I do think if her theme hits and she comes out, it's going to be a massive pop, a reaction. I will say this. If she's in it, I think the odds are very high that she's going to win it. So I think she either goes like not at all or likely winner to me. Because I don't see how you have her make this big surprise return and not immediately shoot her up to the top and have her win and go on to Mania. So.
Yeah, and for the record, if there is a plus sign, that means they were in the top 8 in gambling odds of winning the Royal Rumble. So that's kind of where those numbers come in. I forgot to mention that at the start. If you hadn't listened,
she's one I can see rise like the day, like there's always someone that rises the morning of, like suddenly becomes the favorite out of nowhere or something. So I can see her creeping up on like the morning of, like Sasha's suddenly plus 400 or whatever.
So yeah, and if that's the case, we'll see.
See her take on Damage Control going into WrestleMania. If she were to do that, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I could see her in like the edge. I could see her kind of like in the edge return spot, and then she gets eliminated like final 3 by like one of the like maybe like Nia or somebody, and then like somebody throws up Nia, and then that's how that'll end, because it would deflate the crowd on whoever eliminates Sasha, kind of like how Roman eliminated Edge. So that's just smart in that way of just, all right, we got the moment of Sasha returning, and then whoever eliminates her is going to be the biggest heel in the match.
Or you have someone eliminated her that you want her to fight at Mania. I mean, that's the other option, right? To set up the heat for that. So if you want to have if you want her out of the title picture at Mania, you do that. But I think if she's in it, you just have her win it. I mean, she's never won one, right? I don't think. No. So I mean, that's cool too. It's not like she'd be like a 3-time winner or something crazy. I mean, it'd be a first. So
I think she's been number 1 twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And that first one, she was like the workhorse. I mean, she drove that match. Her and Bailey drove that.
And then number 3. Yeah, and she's excellent. With Sasha, for instance, I could see her. Charlotte Flair just got very injured, right? So I can see them having a need for a woman and then just plugging her right into the Charlotte spot at WrestleMania, whatever that would be. So there's definitely a spot for her. Like Justin said, 5%. I'll go 5.1%. We'll see. All right, Johnny.
Your Price is Right again.
I'm getting a little bit of that at the moment.
I got him there on the Price is Right.
I might have to move again.
Nah, you're
right at my point.
You're up. All right, so Rhea Ripley is your current World Women's Champion. Is there a chance that she is in the Royal Rumble, a la Brock Lesnar 2020?
Oh, there's zero chance that Rhea is going to be in it this year. With such an amazing title run and being as hot as she is, that she does not need to Brock Lesnar this Rumble. I think that she's going to have a fantastic match, and there's zero chance. And she's not winning it again back to back. So I think that I'm excited to see what Rhea and Becky. I don't think that Becky is going to take it, so it's going to be very interesting to see that story be built for the two of them to start heading towards Mania, and how they're really going to pull it off. And I think the promo was cool, but I would be very interested if Sasha were to take it, and we got Sasha and Rhea instead. If Sasha were to come back, that would be such a surprise and such a great story to build. I'm kind of burnt out on the Becky thing at the moment, but Rhea's been a great champion, and she's not losing, and I don't think she's losing at Mania either. So 0.
Right. I would present her at the ring like they did with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte at the first Royal Rumble. I would just put her and Io Sky right at the ring because they don't have a match at the Royal Rumble night as of right now. So I think just present them at the ring, make the championships in the match feel even bigger, because I thought that added to 2018. All right, let's see what I got. What's my fate here? Oh, she's not like most girls, guys. All right, Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax is an easy one. She comes in the mid-20s, she clears house, and she makes the final 4, perhaps the final 3, and she is thrown out by Bayley and Becky, and then Bayley and Becky are kind of at each other's throat for the final 2, and we'll see who gets the win. But I think Nia Jax will come in, eliminate at least 5 women, and just last to the final 3 or 4. So that's Nia Jax's fate. Hot take. I don't think she's been bad in this return whatsoever. I think that Triple H is booking her smart, and this is the perfect role for her. It's just how long of a longevity does she have up top with this interest that of a good push that she's getting. So overall, I'm okay with Nia.
I definitely agree with that.
Would you put her back in the championship status in the next year or 2?
Champion, I'm not sure, but I think she'd be a strong challenger for Rhea, perhaps maybe even at Australia. I think that's a good, you could have your Andre and Hulk moment with Rhea and Nia in Australia. You're the hometown girl.
Yeah, I think she's a good challenger, good contender, good gatekeeper. I don't see them ever.
I see her in that like Kane role. If you remember where Kane was for a while, like she's gonna be like that unbeatable monster, and when somebody beats her, then it's like, oh, that's so impressive, they beat Nia Jax. She's there to give legitimacy to the Raw women's division as of now, and I think she's doing her role well, like you said, Ryan. And we haven't heard anything of like her injuring people like she was in her last run, and her run's been very solid, and she gets legitimate heat in the women's division when there isn't really anybody who could get heat like that. It's like you have Rhea Ripley, who is the top heel on Raw, but everyone's cheering for her because she's so freaking cool.
The question of what you had said about Kane, do you see her more Kane or do you see her more Big Show? Because right before she left, it got really gimmicky and real cheesy right before she left. I feel that's always on a teeter line with her. Tonight, are they going to do her cheesy or is she going to be a badass? So is she going to be Big Show?
I think the cheesiness was more of like a Vince regime kind of deal, like she was fine with that personality of being cheesy and all. But what I think Nia is best towards is just kind of being that hateable, like giant, and more Big Show. Like Big Show was hindered a lot by the turns. I think, not saying Kane wasn't, because Kane was flip flop back and forth as well. But I feel like Kane as like ruthless aggression Kane, bald Kane, is probably the role that Nia's going to have, where it's like Kane was kind of fed to like Benoit in his world title run, was fed to I think Edge during his title run, just
all the way up to Bryan. I mean, it's like 10-year run of like being the guy that you kind of overcome as champion. So I agree with you, Richard. I think Nia is like set up perfectly for that role where she's got the cred, got the size, and she can just be that, always first in line to kind of get impressive win as you start your reign.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I think. I am.
And then just like Kane, she's the ultimate tag worker. She can fit in with anyone.
Yeah.
All right, Richie.
I like the DX wheel.
Yeah. Nia Jax's old tag team partner, Zoe Stark's tag team partner. Dana Baszler. You kind of already did her, Richie, so let's hit her.
It's kind of a repeat of my Zoe Stark's prediction. I think she's going to come out after Zoe Stark, so probably see her in like number 18. I see her like in the mid to late teens, maybe early 20s. Okay. And she's going to have some fun spots. She's going to have the arm breaker spot. She's going to have the Karafuda clutch spot where it's like someone's hanging on the ropes and she's like trying to like have them on. And you could even call back to the Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler Battle Royal finish when Zoe Stark won that shot against Rhea in that Raw Battle Royal. But you could do like an opposite effect where Shayna actually gets one over on Zoe Stark in the end. But that, of course, will lead to their eventual downfall of whoever is destined to win that Royal Rumble. So Shayna's going to have a good showing, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen like a bad Shayna Baszler showing, so I don't see anything different with this one right here.
Maybe SummerSlam with Ronda. That was a little rough.
I mean,
that was like the Brock Goldberg WrestleMania 20 revisited that match. So
they wish they had that much emotion. That was just a dead spot whatsoever. All right, Damage Control, not including Bayley. So that's the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai. Perhaps could we get Dakota back in the Royal Rumble, as this is about where her timetable would end with her knee injury?
Yeah, I think even if she's close, you could probably get her out there for a few minutes, protect her a little bit, and then have her go out. Yeah, I mean, look, they're gonna be in there. They're gonna be there at the same time. Like to me, that's a gimme, right? Because I think they're the type that can run the show for a bit together. Is kind of maybe early, right? Maybe they're like Kabuki Wars are early, and they kind of double team, eliminate, and then you finally get the tide one over on them. I can see them being the early drivers of that portion of the match. I mean, look, I love both of them, especially Io. So I would love to say like high chance to win. I don't know. It's interesting. I think if any damage goes winning, it's Bailey. So
perhaps could they distract Bailey from not winning or eliminate Bailey or something like that?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Maybe. I see like the Ric Flair Batista thing from 05 where Rick was like try to sneakily like throw Batista out. I see that like a very similar thing with Bailey and damage control. Yeah. Now whether they're successful or not, I can't say. Just kind of depends on if they decide Bailey is the winner. And I think we have some thoughts on whether or not Bailey's going to win the Rumble, but we'll see.
I think Bailey's going to win, but what if they weren't going to have her win? I could see something where Asuka tries to get up on the apron and tries to miss Becky and misses Becky and hits Bailey, and that's how Bailey gets thrown out by Becky for Becky to win if she does.
Perfect. And John, while we got you, you're up. All right, you got a legend, John. Give us an old, well, not an old, but a diva from past day.
I would go because she had such an amazing run last year, and I did not have faith in this run, but it blew it out of the water. Is Trish Stratus. I think Trish can easily make another return and try to do a quick. Maybe she's the one that eliminates Zoe or attempts to eliminate Zoe as payback, and probably face to face with Becky one more time, or start something new with another superstar. But I think Trish blew it out of the water from the time that she was there all last year, and I was very surprised. So I would not be surprised if she decided to come in and spend a decent 5 to 10 minutes in the Rumble, and like I said, I'll get face to face with Zoe, or get face to face with Becky, or start something up with another superstar like Bianca.
I dig it.
I'd love to see.
It feels like if she's in the Rumble, then she's probably here through Mania, is my guess, right? Like another quick Mania run and a match of Mania. Seems like it's likely if she shows up, which they should do, because like you said, John, like she had a great run last year. It was fantastic. So why not run it back for another 3 months and then go from there?
All right, I'm up. A lot of favorites out there, a lot of green, and I'm going to get some black. So let's get NXT. All right, this one's easy for me. I would put Tiffany Stratton in there. I'm even presenting her as 2. I don't know who your number 1 is, but it's going to be a big star, right? And then I would present Tiffany as number 2, and I would have her match wits with this big star, and then just go on like a serious run, have her last to the 20s, and then have her. I wouldn't have her have a quiet elimination. Oh, Tiffany Stratton was eliminated by probably maybe Shayna and Zoe in the early 20s, or by Nia when Nia's fresh. I would protect her. I'd make her look strong. I would make her look vulnerable when she was eliminated. And I think we could get her character work over, because I think that's her biggest attributes. But she's come along for a girl that has only wrestled for about 2 years total. She is leaps and bounds better than she was when she started. So I think she's main roster ready, especially from a character aspect. And I believe she will get that character over in the Royal Rumble. Tiffany Stratton, that's an easy one for you guys.
100%.
I would say she's one of the 2 best choices, probably.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, the NXT women's roster is stacked, like really stacked. And it's argued that they probably have the best women's roster in the entire world at this point. You know, them and TNA Wrestling probably have 1A, 1B.
Probably the depth wise, besides the star power, but like overall depth and commitment to TV. Really, they commit the most TV to undercard women for sure.
Do it,
Richie. You're up. I don't think we got some good names out there. You're not going to get any more duds. Or are you? Nah.
I'll tell you.
Not the worst one. Liv Morgan plus 1,400.
Yeah, Liv Morgan is someone we haven't heard in a bit, just in WWE in general. We've seen news stories about her, but now we're getting close to her return. I believe it's a shoulder injury, and she was taken out by Rhea Ripley. So it definitely does make sense of why she would want to enter the Royal Rumble as just as a revenge thing. Maybe she faces her in the chamber, but I don't think it's going to be that direction. If anything, I think Liv Morgan faces Rhea Ripley probably post-Mania would be my guess. As for a spot in the Rumble, what number? I think it would be fun if, depending on how well she's healed, is number 1. I know she was number 2 last year, and she did say in an interview that her goal was to make the distance as a number 1 entrant. So I think Liv Morgan, you just kind of have that surprise number 1 spot. We had Jericho do that at number 2 at one point, I think in 2012 or no, wait, 2013. I'm sorry.
13,
yeah. And I think that would be just kind of like a fun thing to do because WWE doesn't do that often. I think just a surprise, just like right off the jump, like kind of just sets the tone of the Rumble. I think Liv Morgan at number 1 would be fine. Or you could do it like a little bit later. You could have her at like a number 22 spot when everything's kind of simmering down, and then it just kind of spikes up with the interest. You kind of try to catch the crowd off guard by having some people are going, all right, we kind of know that they're coming. Then you have this big return, and then Liv Morgan comes out and you just hear "Watch Me," and then you get the crowd pop. Everyone,
she better come out in the paddy wagon like Dirty Dom at Mania last year. Keep that rolling, yeah.
Oh boy.
From a value standpoint, I don't hate this number right here, plus 1,400. I think if you put $100 on that,
the company loves her. I mean, they love her, right? Like, like her getting popped for synthetic weed wasn't even a blip. They were like, yeah, no, we don't give a shit. Like, and they shouldn't these days. It's fine, but it's like they didn't care at all. And the word is on the street, right, that they're big fans of her inside the company. So I think
it's good value. All right,
great documentary she had too.
Yes, with her. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Where you learned a lot there about her past life. Mm-hmm. And I did have Hooters for dinner to kind of go full circle on her. All right, JT, you're up, buddy.
You and fucking Hooters, man.
I do go like monthly. I'm not gonna lie.
Monthly.
Justin, you are amazing. What do you got, buddy?
All right, Naomi. Let's. Well, we know if Sasha's in there, Naomi's going to be in there, so that's a lock. But I think she's definitely going to be in the match. I would say 100% for me. We already know she gave her farewell to TNA. We know she's on her way back. I think the big question is, I think Sasha's going to dictate her path, right? So, like, if Sasha's back, I think they put them together naturally. If Sasha's not coming back and she's going to AEW, do they do anything with her and the Usos or the Bloodline or anything like do they point her to that direction? Because she wasn't really ever part of that when she was around before.
No.
When would be a natural way to go with things. So it'll be interesting to see if they take that approach or not. Do they change her name and link her up with them, or do they just let her be on her own? Or again, if Sasha's with her, I think that's where they head with it. I would say unlikely to win, but we're gonna get the Dayglow entrance 100%, and I think she's a lock to be a surprise entrant.
I think early on would be really cool too.
One potential. I mean, with the entrance and all that.
And I think like a Kofi spot too.
Yeah. Yep.
Always. Yeah. Liv number 1 and Naomi number 2. That'd be awesome.
Oh, boom. That's perfect.
Could do that. Yeah.
That's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, there's a lot of green here left, John. What do you got? Ooh, Jade Cargill. Plus 300.
Oh, boy. That's a tough one. I know she's been such a big star, and they've really portrayed her to have such a value. So it depends on if you want to save her, or if you put her up there at 29-30, and maybe she might be the reason why she's the one that dumps Nia Jax, and you go straight into Jax versus Cargill.
That ain't bad, actually.
Would be a fantastic build for her, and as you said. Nia is perfectly in that spot to be an Andre Big Show Kane to work over this new powerhouse that needs to make a mark. And if she's the one that lifts Nia and drops Nia, she's already cemented at WrestleMania. Easy. And you don't have to have more than a 3-5 minute match with the two of them to make both of them look really well, look really good. So if Jade's in it, I would go 29-30.
I think if she's in it, like Sasha, I feel like she's going to kind of win it. Like, it feels like they're all in on her as a star. So I don't think she shows up until they really have faith that she is fully ready to go.
Mhm.
And to me, I think it's tough to have someone like her come in, especially late, Johnny, because like the one thing sometimes with that late entrance is it makes it. Someone has done multiple podcasts on these Rumble numbers. It makes them look like they have a weak night. So even if she tosses Nia and she comes out at 29 but doesn't win, it's like, oh, and you look back here, it's like, oh, Jade was laying for 4 minutes, and like because once you get tighter on the time, it's like their length really shrinks. So it almost makes that less impressive of a run in some ways. Now, if she gets the big moment, it could offset it. To your point, if she has to stare down with Nia and chucks her out, that's something. But I feel like if she's in and she's late, I think they pull the trigger on it and let her win. But they have to be confident that she's ready for a Mania title match, which I don't know if they are.
I definitely like the. Oh, sorry. I definitely like Hollywood's idea of the 29-30 spot. I think what would offset it most is if Nia comes out at 29, goes on a tear, eliminates like so many people in a row. Then you had Jade coming in at number 30, and that kind of offsets it. That Nia has like the short time in the Rumble, and then Jade eliminates her like that. Like as soon as she gets in, and then Jade is automatically established, and then you kind of come running with them if they want to go in that direction.
And then going on what Justin said is easy way to save that. Quick time, give her the spot. Nia turns around, pulls her out after Nia.
Right, a cheap elimination, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the one thing we know with Triple H so far in this role is he is extremely patient. And that's one thing he has that like Vince and others had not had. So it would actually kind of surprise me if she's in it, because I really think they want to make sure, and maybe she's there, we just don't know it, but I think they really want to be sure when she comes in, she is ready, and it's not like she does the Rumble and vanishes again. So like I think once she's there, she's there. But he has exhibited a ton of patience on these things, so it wouldn't shock me if they wait longer for her to show up.
Yeah, to his benefit and to his downfall, some might say. If you remember the Gargano Ciampa feud, it had a perfect stop and date, and then it just kind of kept going. So,
well,
I think
Cody with the bloodline, with Gunther, right? Like he's long playing.
Yeah, but he's very good at like the moments being the peak interest. So when you look back on it, like nostalgically, you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, that was awesome." But when we're here watching week in and week out, we see little to no major progression. So I see what he's doing, and it's very Attitude Era-esque, which I appreciate. But again, I think he's going to be smart with this.
To put on Bo on Jay, I would stick her right with Naomi or Sasha. Present her as a huge star and ease her onto TV and have her, like, if it's Naomi kind of has her back. If it's Sasha, her and Sasha are equal. So I would just I'd lump her up with some people.
Jade feels to me more like a night after Mania, where they can then slow build her up the card, versus like if she debuts in the Rumble, she needs to do something at Mania now. And now you got 2 months to build a compelling story for her. Be confident she's ready for that spot. Unless you just let her squash the shit out of people for the next 2 months. You could do that too. She shows up in the Rumble, has an impressive showing, squash. At Mania, give her a competitive squash, maybe Liv puts her over in like a 5-minute match or something. Versus like, I don't know if she's ready for like a big time 12 to 15-minute match, right? She's probably not there yet. So I think you're going to Goldberg her a bit and let her work her way up.
You could also do like the showcase that they did last year with the tag showcase. Have her just do like whether it's a tag showcase, whether it's a battle royal, whatever you want to do. Just have Jade have a good showcase at WrestleMania, and then you just sell her on that fact.
I think kicking the shit out of Liv is a good spot for her, honestly, on Mania, because like Liv will put her over, she could bump for her, and like she can really throw her around. So that might be a good match, like where like she runs shop on either Raw or SmackDown for a couple months, have her bring in some low end names, maybe some of the lower end NXT girls or something, and then Liv finally steps up to her a couple weeks before Mania and is like, all right, like let's go, like see if you can do this to me, and then Jade beats her, like just kicks the shit out of her. So I think that's, if you're going to debut, I'd rather see that than like into like a big time match where I don't know if they want to expose her yet to that.
So the China Battle Royal to go against the Andre Battle Royal. Let her win that.
Yeah, they got to name that thing, right? Wasn't it Moolah for like a minute, and then they're like, probably
I like the. I know a lot of people said this, but the Sensational Invitational I thought had a good ring to it.
Sherry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She's having a Dark Side of the Ring episode too.
Sherry.
Yeah.
They might not name it after then when that drops.
All right, Bianca Belair, plus 1,000. Not a big favorite this year. Could be the I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she's the Iron Woman. It's not her year, so let's kind of she's done it in the past, but have her go out there, keep this Royal Rumble together from a work rate standpoint, and just give her the Iron Woman tag instead of having her win it. But
Can I raise a hot take? Can I raise a hot take? I'd love there to be no Iron Woman or Iron Man. I feel like they've leaned on it so much that it's starting to become like obvious and predictable. Like there was one year, was it 21, where there was like 3 women were like and they repeated it in the men's. It was like Edge and Bianca both went from like number 2 to the end or whatever. And it's like last year, Rhea and Gunther pretty much like went the whole way. So it's like, can we do?
She's not going to win it. I would say that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I would give it a break for a year, like, and just say, wow, like this Rumble field is so competitive. No one had that long 25, 30-minute run. It was everyone's boom, boom, boom. But just to mix it up. I feel like you're starting to get predictable in the format. Like, okay, who's going to be the Iron Woman? Who's going to be the most like? I just feel like it'd be cool if they just varied it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like it when they did the. I remember in 03, like Matt Hardy like had something like the Matt Fact corner. And said Matt Hardy was the longest tenured SmackDown person in that Royal Rumble. So it's just kind of like a fun thing. Like if you give like a mid card guy or a rising star kind of guy, and just like not them tout on it, but it's like I lasted long enough to be in the Rumble, and then the babyface would be like, "Well, did you win?" You know, and it's just like you could start like storylines on that. I like it when the Iron Man or Iron Woman like starts like. Or enhances the character of the person who has that title, or
if it's just someone who lays around for 40 minutes, like all right, like okay, the Iron Man, but you didn't do shit, right? Like Gunther was an amazing Iron Man, right? Because he dominated that match and was fantastic. Then there's Rey Mysterio who laid on his ass for fucking 35 to 40 minutes of that 60 minutes he was in. Go, John.
We need another Curtis Axel.
He may be around. What's he doing?
Curtis Axel. I'm all about that. Axelmania, baby.
I love it. However, Justin, due to math, there's always going to be an Iron Man or Iron Woman. Someone's going to be in there the longest.
Right, but I'm saying shrink that. It doesn't always have to be 45, 50 minutes. Make the longest 16 minutes. Like that's, you can do that. Like you don't need to have every year be like an insane marathon.
Yeah, but I think they give her a big spot, a memorable spot. I don't want to say she's dwindling from a star power or an importance factor, but she doesn't feel like she as big or feel as presented as well as she has in the past. It's just not her time. It's Rhea's time. It's Io Sky. It's Bailey's turn. So it's just kind of like, how does she fall when it's not her turn?
Last year, her and Jade. I mean, her and Jade with the big showdown would be cool too. With two
perfect
power lifters, right?
Have Jade eliminated. Perfect.
Stare down. Like that's if you want to do it to me, even more than Nia.
I think it's unfortunate because it looked like Bianca Belair and Charlotte were kind of leading something, whether it was partners, whether it was opponents, and then Charlotte got hurt, and then now Bianca's been kind of in creative limbo. And what's interesting about Bianca is like she's always in Rumble matches. She's always entered, I believe, fairly early. Yeah, I think she was like number 1 or number 2, and then like for a couple years in a row,
she won.
Yeah, she was like I think she was 2 or 3 when she won.
3, and then she debuted as 2 in the 19.
Yeah, so
2019. Yeah,
it'd be kind of weird to see her at a later entry number and see if anything develops for her storyline wise going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, she's an interesting spot. It's not make or break, but she could definitely use a kick in the butt.
Yeah, no whammies. All right.
Richie, not the hottest picks, but
yeah, in any game of poker, you work with the hand you're dealt with, and all these people that I've talked about are fantastic athletes in their own right. And I think, who do I like from NXT? I do like Sol Ruka. I do think she would be a very fun Rumble entrant. I think she recently got cleared, if I'm not mistaken. If not her, then probably Fallon Henley.
Yes, that's a great pick.
I think really good work on her. Like character work, like we were talking about with Tiffany Stratton as well. I think them, while in the Rumble, could also further their storyline and also kind of introduce them to the audience at large. And I will see her usually with NXT picks. I don't want to say few and far between, but they're usually in like the low points of the Rumble just to kind of like fill up bodies. So it's like
9 or 10 somewhere in there.
yeah, 9, 10, usually the teens, like usually the mid to late teens. I'll go number 12, go number 12.
Okay.
And
Is that our last NXT block, Ryan?
Yes.
And do have Soruka hit that awesome cutter and then have everyone go crazy.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Why, Justin? You got an NXT woman you want to see while we're on the NXT?
I think
subject?
Roxanne Perez seems like a likely maybe not to come up, but just like get her a little highlight. It was the year they did like Adam Cole and Gargano, and even though they weren't coming up to the main roster, doesn't giving them the exposure, they seem to really like her a lot, and she's one of the top women in NXT. So it wouldn't shock me if they gave her a throw her a bone here and have her get like a Rumble entrant on her resume, get a few minutes, and then like I don't think she'll do much, but like just to get her in the match, it wouldn't shock me.
Yep. I do.
Going back to Adam Cole's entry number, I always liked how the takeovers the night before he's like in like these brutal matches where it's like he shouldn't be standing, and then he's just like competing on the pay-per-view like he did in the Rumble, he did in Survivor Series after that Ciampa. Like
he held his ribs when it came out. Yeah.
Like I understand that, but it's like if you're just gone, it's like he should be like crawling. Like I remember Kevin Owens and Ambrose had like a last man standing match, and they were just like slugging their way out there, like they were just like limping, and they were like, and Kevin Owens even put like his hands on his knees, like he's like so exhausted. I just like little touches of that, of just like if you competed the night before or the same night, and then you're just like exhausted, you're not just like fired up to be in the Rumble.
Absolutely. Justin, your last one here, buddy. Oh, one of the favorites.
Yeah, I think one of the favorites for sure. I mean, look, she's always in play, right? I mean, her and Charlotte to me are the two that you can never count out. It's kind of the Cena, Hogan, Orton style, like whatever. Like you always got to factor them in, right? When we used to do like pay-per-view pick'ems, I pick Cena every month, no matter what. I'm like, I don't care. He's gonna win more, he's gonna lose. So I'm probably gonna luck into more wins and losses. So with Becky, similar, right? I think she's someone you always just pick and pick and pick. That said, I don't think she's gonna win here. There's one more person still to come. We talked about on this wheel, I think is the most likely winner. And then again, you got Sasha lingering, I guess behind them maybe, but I think, I don't know, Bailey doesn't win. I like the idea we talked about earlier with the Kabukis tossing Bailey out and maybe one of them wins. Like I could see that happening as well. So I'd put Becky top 5, right? But I wouldn't put her as the favorite. I'd put her behind Sasha, behind Bailey, behind Io, maybe. That's me. I don't know, maybe even behind Naomi. I don't know. Like somewhere in there, maybe.
I feel the Becky fatigue, but I think that the money match is Becky and Rhea. And if this is the route to get there,
they can get there without the Rumble with her. Like the Rumble should be used to establish her. She's won it before. Becky's Becky, right? So she can get a WrestleMania title shot in a different manner than having to take another Rumble.
And I don't think she's going to win because she kind of, I hate to say adversity, she needs to go through a little adversity within herself, the way she presented herself to Rhea, as in, I don't think I have the confidence to get there. So I think they play to the vulnerability of herself and the self-doubt, and she kind of has to earn it a little bit and lose in the Rumble and probably go through the chamber and win it that way if they plan on going Rhea.
It's a better story for her.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fast forward version of the John Cena 2012 storyline. He's like, 2012 was my worst year ever, and then Becky Lynch, it's like it's only been about 2 weeks, so you build that up a little bit more. But I will say, like, usually when Nia beat Becky, usually when they do that, that's kind of usually like set as like a setup for the next pay-per-view. So it's like Becky lost on Raw, so she was most likely going to win the Rumble. But it would be pretty cool if they detour that and they have her kind of fight a little bit more, because Becky versus Rhea is the money match, and probably, in my opinion, the WrestleMania match that shouldn't happen.
Here's the question: if they don't go so obvious with us believing, because we've talked about it almost the entire time, with Becky and Bailey being the final two, what if they go completely left field and drop Becky way beyond the final two?
They did that last year. They did that last year.
I could see her do like the Shawn Michaels 2010 spot, where it's like she's just like barely holding on, and she's like makes it the final four, and then that's when she's eliminated, and then you just kind of linger on Becky just being like, I lost my shot, and then it's just kind of like really like destroy like her confidence in that moment of just being like, I don't have it anymore, and then just have that like camera pan on her, just being like, just walking to the back, just all sully and just kind of like not believing like, look, the era of the man can be over. Or like, and we just pretty much seen like Becky, like, I don't want to say past her prime, but she's no longer at her peak. And that could be like a big like reality moment that could set into said storyline.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think she just adds to her vulnerability. The way that they presented the match with Rhea already, this is a good way to kind of double down on that. All right, Johnny, I know you want Bayley. I hope you get Bayley, buddy.
Just give it to him. You hope he gets.
I want Bayley buddies. We need wrestling buddies back. We all want a Bayley wrestling buddy.
Well, let's hear it. Is this the road to getting there? Tell us about Bayley. What's going on?
Man, so Bayley's been my pick for almost the entire year. I was going with Gunther and Bayley for the majority of this year. I believe that Bayley's time, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before that, and I was gunning for Bayley to win. I forgot who the champion was then. The only other way I can see Bayley possibly doing it is if they wound up turning on Bayley in the Rumble and then doing Bayley and maybe Bianca versus all the rest of Damage Control in the Elimination Chamber, which would be an interesting story to do. But I just think Bayley deserves it. She's been the hardest working, like with the character change 4 or 5 years ago to throughout the whole pandemic. Her and Sasha were like glue. Asuka was the comedy, but the workhorses were Sasha and Bayley. And Bayley deserves this accolade to be put on the rest of her resume, especially before we go back to that huggy, lovable Bayley. I just want to see badass Bayley run through this Rumble and just finally get that Rumble that she deserved the last 2 or 3 years. If I had to give her a number, I would put her probably, she's not early and she's definitely not late. So I'd probably say about 21, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
2021. And even with Becky, I think they're going to be, if you go with like Justin saying, with kind of like eliminating people, I think we get a little downtime maybe where Zoe and Shayna are going to run that middle, eliminate the people in the middle, and then you re-amp the Rumble with Becky and Bayley coming in and just getting right in the faces of Zoe and Shayna, and then rebuilding the end of the Rumble to tell the second half of the story. And very interested who the final 2 would be if either one of them got eliminated early and you didn't get Bayley or Becky. And I think if the 2 of them ever were to get dumped early, we're going to get that snap that they gave us when Roman Reigns won, and people are going to boo whoever wins outside of the 2 of them and turn on them.
I think the Kabuki Warriors and Damage Control attempt to kind of help Bayley, and then Bayley overcomes that and does it all by herself. And that's the way, because I don't want Bayley to turn babyface after getting a rejection. I want her to be a smart babyface. I want her to see all the red herrings, and I want her to outsmart Damage Control. And this is her moment where she she doesn't have to come back as the wavy, flavy, whatever, wacky Bayley, but she can just come back as a grown-ass girl, a big, strong woman, and a role model. And I think that starts here by kind of eliminating the bullies from her life. And this is a great spot to do that. Bayley's my pick. All right, let's get the last one out of the way. It's Raquel Rodriguez. No need to kind of spin it any further. I just want to know what her odds were. 900. Actually, that's not too bad. She's probably like 6th or 7th from the top. She's going to have a really good spot. This could be a girl that could eliminate Nia after Nia's in like a diesel spot. But honestly, I don't even know if she's going to be in the Royal Rumble because of her eczema scare. So I'm going to go ahead and say no, due to her skin damage. But I think she has a bright future in the WWE. I just don't know if it's 2024, perhaps 2025 when they kind of need a heel to turn hot. And I think that's her role. But I'm going to say no, she's not in the Rumble. But if she is, she's going to eliminate Nia and have an impactful short run. As we get out of here, guys, Richie, final answer. Who's winning the Rumble?
Let's see. Heart says Bayley. Head says Becky. I think I'm going to go with Bayley.
All right, Justin?
Bayley or Sasha?
Oh, so that 5% has increased in the last 40 minutes.
That 5% is bigger than everyone else's. I just have Bayley at 95. 90.
All right.
Bayley at 90, Sasha at 5, everyone else at 5 or less combined.
All right, perfect. Well, I did have 5.1%. John, who's winning the Royal Rumble?
My heart's been on Bailey for this whole year, so I gotta stick with my gut on this one. Do you have a quick question? Does anybody think that Ronda's going to show up in the Rumble?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I hope not. I would say no. Maybe in a few years I can see her doing a one-off, but I don't see her kind of not yet. But perhaps you never know.
So Bailey.
My pick. I think the money's on Bailey. But my heart's kind of with Becky. Fuck y'all. All right, guys. I think that's more of a clearer path. All right, guys. That's it for this episode. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Richie. Thank you for Hollywood John from the parking lot.
While you're here, subscribe.
From the parking lot.
See you on the next one, guys.